Kelly, making sure you can hear me.
I said, we was that really only my own. So it's considering this time, so share, but we decide. She don't understand. I just tell me that my resume. I mean, I was actually great. I thought I was trying to do time, but.
Where the sound is
No,
good.
the
I don't know. Ready? All right, welcome everyone to the Town of Ocean Ridge April meeting. Thank you for coming. Would you call the roll, please? Kelly?
Commissioner Hutchins,
Here.
Commissioner Cassidy. Here. Vice Mayor Cos.
Here.
Mayor Pugh,
Here.
and Commissioner Ayala is absent with notice.
And is Michelle on?
I am.
She is.
All right. Okay, let's stand for pledge allegiance.
One nation.
Thank you, everyone. All right, is there any other deletions, additions or modifications to the agenda? Kelly, don't you have one?
Mr. Mayor, we have two additions, actually, if you can hear me.
Hold on 1 second here. Michelle wants to speak, but I don't know why it's not allowed.
What happened?
Michelle is trying to say something.
Can you hear me now?
Shell?
I'm trying. It
Did she
shows
hear us?
She's.
as I
She's
am.
trying.
She can call one.
Try one more time.
How about now? How about now?
You want to call and put her on speaker?
Yeah.
We're gonna have to put you on speaker with a phone.
Okay.
Make sure she
I
answers.
have a couple of comments and commissioner comments. I'll be brief.
I do have one.
Hello, thank you. Technical difficulties.
Let's see if the audience hear you. Speak.
Hello, everyone.
Okay, do your thing.
What you
Okay,
got?
Mr. Mayor and Commissioner, we have two quick things to add to the agenda, if you allow. The first one is a proclamation of appreciation for Telecommunicators Week, and that's going to celebrate our dispatch. And the second one is an appointment for voting delegates for the Palm Beach County League of Cities. And they need to have the information on if Commissioner Cassidy will continue and who the alternate will be as well.
All right.
Okay.
Additionally, I see Commissioner Ala is on.
Yes, he is.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna hang. So.
Yeah.
I'm here.
That works better than the
Yeah, she flags that she needs to talk again. I guess. Well,
She can message me.
Christie's gonna be up to you.
I'm gonna go on mute.
Well, shouldn't the Commissioner Cassidy be on a discussion? I mean, a proclamation. I mean, I'm all for keeping her on there, so shouldn't it be something other than a proclamation? Because who is the alternate now?
No, it's a vote.
No, it's a vote.
Proclamation's different. That's about dispatch.
No, but where's she gonna put, where are we putting the Commissioner Cassidy's?
Sure, discussion.
Under
At the end.
I didn't hear what she's gonna.
So I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the two changes we just met
And a couple of comments by me.
and
Commissioner.
comments
Yeah,
by.
comments
Do
by Commissioner Cassidy.
we have a second? No.
Second.
Dave, second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Announcements, Kelly?
Yes, now we can swear in. Or do you want to do the proclamation first?
Oh, we gotta do the swearing in first.
It's swearing in.
Right.
Start with Commissioner.
Who's filming?
Hutchins.
Voters.
It's not.
It's John's job.
I, David Hutchins,
Solemn
do solemnly swear
that I will
that I will support, defend, and protect
the Constitution
the Constitution and government
of the United States,
of the United States
the state of Florida,
and the state of Florida
against all
against all enemies,
domestic,
domestic or foreign,
that I will bear faith,
that I will bear true faith,
loyalty, faith,
loyalty, and allegiance to the same,
and I will take the office
that I'm entitled to hold office
of the state of Florida,
in the state of Florida,
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully perform
all of the duties
all of the duties
of the office of town commission,
of the office of town commission
town of Ocean Ridge, Florida,
of the town of Ocean Ridge, Florida,
which I'm about to enter.
on about which I'm about to enter. So help me God.
Where's Tim?
Tim, where's your phone?
Tim should be with Carolyn, shouldn't
Now they're official. Got the proclamation.
Proclamation of telecommunications.
Yes. This is the Public Safety Telecommunications Week, April 12th through the 18th of 2026. Whereas public safety telecommunicators serve as a critical first point of contact between the public and emergency response agencies, providing calm, professional guidance during moments of crisis. And whereas these highly trained professionals answer emergency and non-emergency calls, assess rapidly evolving situations, prioritize incidents, dispatch appropriate public safety resources, and provide life-saving instruction, often remaining on the line until help arrives. And whereas public safety telecommunicators perform mission-critical functions that are essential to the effective operation of law enforcement, fire rescue, emergency medical services, and emergency management agencies. And whereas the work environment of a 911 communication center is inherently stressful, requiring telecommunicators to manage traumatic incidents, high call volumes, emotional callers, and life or death decisions while maintaining accuracy, professionalism, and composure. And whereas public safety telecommunicators must continually adapt to new technologies, emerging threats, and changing community needs while maintaining the highest standards of service to protect lives and property. And whereas the second week of April has been designated by the Association of Public Safety Communications Officers and the National Emergency Number Association to recognize public safety telecommunications personnel for their crucial role in protecting life and property. Now therefore, I, Jeff Pugh, as mayor and on behalf of the town commission, do hereby proclaim April 12th through the 18th, 2026 as Ocean Ridge Public Safety Telecommunicators Week in the town of Ocean Ridge, and extend our appreciation to all telecommunicators here in the town of Ocean Ridge for their hard work, dedication, and leadership.
Thank you. That's our dispatchers, thank you.
Our head dispatcher's in the back right now.
Stand up.
I would just like to add, whenever I called dispatch over the last year,
Yeah.
the response and the professionalism has been just amazing. And you guys have been a great help, even on little stupid things. You're terrific. So thank you. Right.
All right. League of Cities. think you're great, been doing great at it. Everybody agree?
Yep.
Who's the alternate?
It has always been the town manager.
Okay,
We can do that
She
again.
accept-
I believe she will.
all right, so we'll leave it just the way it is.
I will. Yes,
Thank
I
you.
heard her say.
Thanks for all that hard work you do.
thank you.
Wish you all the grants. Great announcements, Kelly?
Yes, we got a few. The meeting schedule for the next month is as follows. The regular town commission meeting will be Monday, May 4th at 6 p.m. Then we also, before that, have a town commission workshop Monday, May 4th at 2 p.m. There is a code enforcement hearing Monday, May 5th at 10 a.m. Planning and zoning commission meeting will be on Tuesday, April 21st at 9 a.m. All meetings are held in the commission chambers at Town Hall. The Town Commission will consider appointments to the following board positions at the May 4th, 2026 Town Commission meeting. Board of Adjustment, we have 2 regular members for 3-year terms and 1 alternate member for a 3-year term. And Planning and Zoning Commission, we have 3 regular members, each for 3-year terms. Interested residents must be 1 registered to vote in Ocean Ridge and 2 available for the monthly meetings. Please submit an application and resume to the town clerk by the deadline of April 22nd at 3 p.m. The town will be hosting its first annual Spring Tidings in Ocean Ridge. Join us on Friday, April 17th, this Friday, from 5:30 to 7:30 at Town Hall for an evening of connection and celebration. Guests are invited to enjoy wine, hors d'oeuvres, and live saxophone music as we come together for a refined spring evening. The town will be providing a free shredding service to residents of Ocean Ridge and Briny Breezes on Saturday, May 2nd from 9 a.m. until noon in the back parking lot of Town Hall. For more information regarding this event, please visit the town's website. And any residents who wish to sign up to receive important town notifications and news through Civic Ready should sign up on the town's website or call Town Hall for assistance.
All right, thank you, Kelly. Now, public comment, first one's going to be an email that Kelly's going to read. Please.
Okay, this is a letter from Janet Shines at 120 Dolphin Road, Ocean Ridge, Florida, 33435. Mayor, commissioners, town officials, and residents of Ocean Ridge. On behalf of Starbright Civic Collective Board of Directors, I would like to extend our sincere thanks to the many residents, supporters, and friends of Ocean Ridge who helped make our recent annual fundraiser at the O Palm Beach Resort such a tremendous success. More than 130 residents and town supporters gathered for an evening of wonderful food, beverages, and fellowship, all with shared purpose, raising funds to support the town of Ocean Ridge and the programs and projects that help along with the fundraising efforts surrounding the event. Starbright raised more than $100,000 for our town. This achievement reflects the strong spirit of this community and the willingness of so many to invest in Ocean Ridge's future. Starbright is a volunteer-led organization committed to supporting Ocean Ridge in meaningful and practical ways. We help fund projects and programs that matter deeply to this town, including first aid, training, drones, lighted crosswalks, and cameras that help protect our citizens from harm. We also support activities that strengthen the social fabric of our community, such as our recent local resident and cabaret star, Mary Zeeves concert at Town Hall, which was a huge hit, and our upcoming bingo on April 21st, which was quickly become a favorite among residents. We sincerely thank the residents of Ocean Ridge for your continued support, your attendance, generosity, and belief in what we are doing to make this work possible. We would also like to extend special thanks to the town manager, Commissioner Pugh, and the chief of police, along with many of his officers for attending the event and supporting our cause. Their presence was meaningful and their support was greatly appreciated. Starbright exists to serve this town. We are volunteers and we are here to help advance the kinds of projects and activities that make Ocean Ridge safer, stronger, and more connected. I encourage any residents who has an idea, recommendation, or suggestion to reach out to any member of the Starbright board. We want to hear from you and we welcome your input as we continue identifying ways to support the needs and priorities of this community. Starbright is proud to stand behind this town, and we believe efforts that improve safety, community connection, and quality of life deserve broad support. The success of this event made one thing very clear. Ocean Ridge residents understand the value of investing in their town. We are grateful to everyone who stood with us, and we hope that going forward, support for initiatives that directly benefit this community will be unified, visible, and unwavering.
Thank you, Kelly. All right, public comment. Christine, do you want to? You know, the one behind you.
You could beat me up here, though. You could run. Terry Brown, Harbor Drive South. I wanted to mention to the town residents and to the town power elite that the U.S. Senate, with everything going on in the world, did a really good thing last month on March the 27th. They passed a resolution naming April National Native Plant Month. So you see why I'm talking about it. The reason why it's important for us is that years ago, the county initiated native plant installation on new construction and public projects, if you remember. So you see a lot of that on the byways of Palm Beach County. And we have a good code which also encourages the same thing. Two of my neighbors, not because I influenced them, planted native plants and it looks really nice. There's a new house across the street has gumbo, limbo, fakahatchee grass and some other stuff. The reason why we need to keep looking at it in terms of this town is that the landscape is beginning to change, in my opinion. And I know that we have this independent spirit that people can do whatever they want on their property as long as it doesn't harm others. But we have an awful lot of Canary Island Sylvester palms showing up, and it makes the town look like Phoenix, Arizona, or somewhere else, not Florida. So I think that whoever is responsible for looking at plan review, try to take a more focused look on what people plant and should encourage them to do the native plant thing. Because it's important for a lot of reasons, one of which important for Florida is it promotes water conservation. It encourages pollinators like bees and butterflies, and it lowers your landscape maintenance. No fertilizer, no water, if it's properly done. So this resolution was just passed, and 10 U.S. senators sponsored it. I must point out that neither one of our senators in Florida were one of the sponsors, but it did pass on a bipartisan basis on unanimous consent. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. Christine? Hold on, Betty.
Christine Schulte from 7 Adams Road. I would like to discuss the appalling skeleton house on the road across from the condos. What is the status now? Because it's been like this forever. Is the owner, I was told, leases a house across the street from me, but I don't see his car there. And is he paying some fees? What is, it's been forever. And there are people who are trying to sell their homes. Who wants to be, having this affair there that nothing happens?
Are you talking about the one on the end of Adams?
Yeah.
Yes,
5727.
I actually,
Well, there,
I ran into workmen there.
I'm sorry,
I ran into workmen there 3 or 4 days ago,
really?
and Kelly will back me up if this is accurate. I asked them if they were repairing the fence. They said no, they were involved in the contractor and that they were in the permitting process.
They are not in the permitting process. They are still going through review with planning and zoning.
Well, I consider that part of the
Okay.
permitting process.
And
So there is some activity.
and the owner has he been fined for this? Because we know the story, how part of the family bought it for $5 million or something like that. And this is really so ugly, and it's not something that we should have in this town, Either you build it or you go
Right.
or
Well, the good news is this movement, which is a real
and
break.
how many years? This is about 2 to 3 years.
well, Kelly's got a little more information. Kelly?
I can definitely follow up. They were basically, you have to go through, several officials to get to that point of going to the hearing. They've gotten through 2 of the 3, and they're still responding back to, I believe, engineering comments before we can allow them to go to the hearing. So that's where they're at now. I will follow up with them tomorrow to see if we can get a move on that.
It's really so ugly, Who wants to live right in front of that, right? Anyway, well, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you,
very much.
Christine. Betty?
I want to prevent a problem. William Beach is building multi homes across the way. They're all going to want to come to the beach. They want parking spaces, and other towns have bought vacant lots, make parking lots out of them. There used to be one part where they moved the two Georges out, which was a tax-paying entity, and they now have 5 building lots in that part. Kind of revenue that we get from the city. I think we need to have legislation which prohibits any more parking lots being built in Ocean Ridge. But I have no objection to people going to the beach. One can set up a jitney to run the people, or they can walk. And I think we ought to think about it before it becomes a real problem.
Thank you, Betty. Anyone else?
Good evening. My name is Jackie Lorne. I'm the executive director and founder of Sea Turtle Adventures. And I'm here today because I wanted to thank you all for the town's support at our recent Turtle Crawl fundraiser. It was our first annual event, and we raised over $20,000 to help support our sea turtle conservation efforts. Our nonprofit was formed in 2016. However, the work that we and I have been doing on the beach, especially here in Ocean Ridge, dates back over 30 years. The permitting process with Ocean Ridge was straightforward, very easy to complete. Staff were always available to answer our questions. The Ocean Ridge Police staffed the event, and they were excellent. Also wanted to thank Starbright, who also supported our event and manned one of our water stations. The event would not have been possible without the support of the town, and we hope to do it again next year. And since I have a little bit of time left, I wanted to let you know our nonprofit monitors the southern portion of Ocean Ridge's beach. We do the southern 0.75 miles. As of this morning, we have 7 nests already on the beach. At this time last year, we only had 2. It's going to be a very interesting year because we have dredging going on north and south of us. And our group has been monitoring the same 3-mile section for over 30 years. We do town of Gulfstream, Briney, part of Ocean Ridge, and Gulfstream Park. So thank you very much for your time
Well,
and
thank
support.
you.
I had a question for
Yep.
you. I don't know if this is a new mechanism you guys are using at the end of the Adams Street.
Mhm.
You know, oh, good, you know who that is, right up against where the deck is. Looks like a huge turtle came in over weekend or last night. So you roped it off or taped it off with the stretchy stuff, but then there's 2 PVC poles with a pink string across it, which is a new addition to your markings.
Very familiar with that nest. And that was a homeowner who placed the white stakes up that we do not encourage. And it's actually getting taken down tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was something.
Yeah, no, nothing new. We have the orange stakes. It's like the Home Depot orange paint. And on our leatherback nests, we'll rope them off usually because the area is so large. If it's a smaller nest like a loggerhead, we'll usually just stake it. But yeah, those white ones were from a homeowner.
And the
And that was a
code,
loggerhead? That was a loggerhead nest?
That was a leatherback.
Leatherback.
That's a big leatherback, and it's right at the bottom of the stairs at Adams
Yeah.
Road. That's our northern boundary for our section of beaches, Adams Road.
yeah. it's you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Can you, the placards, is there a secret code that only you guys know, or can you?
Yes, there is. So it used to be where all the beaches would just write the date on the stake that the nest was laid, but then it was discouraged by FWC because people would count 60 days and then sit out
Yeah,
at the nest at
exactly.
night. So now every beach uses their own code. So if you find out the code on one beach, it doesn't mean it's the same as the next
Well, what
beach.
you should
So
do to get more money is sell them a secret to go.
Yeah, that's a
You
great
know, and
idea.
basically everybody know, you know,
love the idea.
Great idea.
Thank you.
thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Carol Bessler, 5906 Old Ocean. I'm here this evening to give a summation on the Starbright season because we're just about finished, and I would like to incorporate some ideas we have for next season and reiterate some of the things that you heard from Janet Shines, our chairperson. Since its inception, Starbright with the support of the Ocean Ridge residents, has helped provide in excess of $100,000 in equipment, services, and programming that directly benefit this town. That support has helped fund EMS training for officers, Stop the Bleed kits for residents that we provided, a drone, a trailer for the 4x4 that goes up and down the beach, the static cameras, which have helped with law enforcement with solving crime, lighted crosswalks, which have helped our citizens be safer crossing, especially over A1A, and programs for residents. And we're currently awaiting the delivery of the golf cart that we recently purchased, thanks to the generosity of those who attended our gala at the O Resort this year. These are not abstract ideas. These are real contributions with real value to this community. Starbright also organizes events that brings residents together through educational and community activities. These are not fundraisers. If a donation is requested, it is only to offset the basic costs we have, such as the money we pay to town hall to rent the town hall. And in many cases, our speakers and entertainers donate their time and talent. To my knowledge, Starbright is the only organization in town that donates 100% of the fundraising to the town of Ocean Ridge. And that is made possible through the one annual fundraiser we hold each year, and not the events that we hold at Town Hall. In this current economic atmosphere, this support has become almost crucial to provide small towns like ours with life-saving equipment and trainings not covered in an already stretched budget. As testimony to this fact, other organizations in neighboring towns have started conversations with us on how to form alliances to subsidize budget shortfalls in their towns. Hopefully, through the tireless work of our volunteers, Ocean Ridge will become a model for other towns. Our last event of the season, which will be held on Tuesday, April 21st, the ever popular bingo. At the culmination of this event, the Board of Starbright will begin our planning for events for next season. We're asking the town commissioners, employees, and residents to help us to continue to offer quality program by letting us know not only your ideas, but also needs in the town that we may properly budget for next year. Residents immensely enjoyed our recent cabaret night featuring a neighbor, the very talented Mary Ziv, and have requested an entertainment series next season. Some of the requests for funding have been a digital lighted signboard, sprucing up of the foyer in Town Hall with new furnishings, and rip current signage and life rings at all public beach accesses. We're asking for all residents, town employees, and commissioners to come forward with your suggestions and ideas. Starbright was formed to help and enhance the lives of all in our community in Ocean Ridge. We want to hear from you, and we want you to hear from us. To that end, I'm asking the commissioners to supply Starbright written rules, policies, and standards governing what may be included in the town newsletter and the Civic Ready alerts. These are the only mechanisms in helping to get the word out about events, lost pets, and emergencies that occur in town to help our residents. And if there are no written policies, we would welcome being included to help develop such. Since the town of Ocean Ridge does not have a community center, when the town hall was being planned and built, the intention was that it could be used for community gatherings. And if these gatherings cannot be advertised to the community, everyone loses. Starbright has done the work. We've put together a viable organization that donates 100% of its fundraising back to the town. Our volunteers have shown up. Our residents have given generously. You can help by giving parameters for all groups to follow so we can successfully get the word out to our residents to attend and support our programs in their town. So please consider our request for clarity, and absolutely to all the residents and town employees, please let us know what you would like to see in future programming and expenditures for things that are needed in the town, not covered in your budget. You can contact me or any one of our board members, many of who are sitting in the back of the room. Raise your hand. And please let us know or check our website. And we look forward to hearing from you. And thank you very much for a great season.
Thank you, Carol. And thank you, Starbright. Other public comment? Christine?
Thank you. Last but not least, thank you, Starbright. That's amazing. That's a hard follow-up. I just wanted to bring to issue something that I've noticed, and it's becoming a bigger and bigger trend, and I don't know what we can do about it, but it should be on our radar, not unlike what Betty said about the, exponential growth in Boynton. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but Woolbright Bridge seems to be like on steroids. It's up, it's down, it's up, it's down, it's up, it's down. Never in all the years that I've lived here have I seen so many bridge openings. Same thing with Ocean Avenue Bridge, but Ocean Avenue has that long runway, so we're not stuck out in the middle of A1A. Particularly, and I'm surprised you can even get off of your street.
Finish, I have some stuff that, you know.
Okay, excellent. So I know it's FDOT. I know it's a state road. We don't control it. We, have sometimes very little say with FDOT, but we need some opportunity, particularly heading from the south to the north at the light at Woolbright. That left turn lane backs up because they can't get onto the bridge. Obviously, only 4 or 5 cars can actually queue up. And traffic backs all the way up to my office in Briny Breezes. And it's a regular thing. So a lot of people have learned the tricks of what we know as locals is you jump over onto Old Ocean and you try to circumvent it. I'd hate to see everybody learn that trick and have Old Ocean become as congested as what's happening on A1A. So I don't know if we have enough right away to create a go-through lane or not. But I just, we're all experienced in it, and it's like the elephant in the room. So we might as well start to talk about it because FDOT doesn't do anything quickly. So
The Ocean Ave Bridge is on the half hour. So that's why, the captains of the boats know that. Woolbright's on demand. Show you how ridiculous it's gotten. I went over the bridge. I had to wait at the bridge to go over to Walgreens, walked in the door, picked up something, came back out, and the bridge was going up again. So we put in a request last year to please not open the bridge in any less than a 10-minute interval, because that seemed extremely reasonable, right? The answer back to us was no, we won't do that. You have to exhaust all local, avenues before we'll even discuss it with you. So we have to have Boynton go through all the avenues to avoid changing the bridge pattern and have Ocean Ridge do it. And they're not cooperative in the least. There's also a time element with the Army Corps of Engineers of how long it takes to get to Atlantic Avenue Bridge. And because our original request was to time Woolbright Bridge, right? Do it on the quarter hour. And they refused that as well because it broke their formula for how long it would take to get to Atlantic Avenue.
well, at some point it's going to become even more critical because George Bush Bridge right now is under county review for feasibility for either destruction and rebuild and or repair. Because if you remember in 22, it broke down for about 6 months and people went catatonic. So the county has already come out. They're doing the study. They're saying they're going to have public input in 2028 and maybe do something in 2029. So that might fit into this formula. It might not, but I totally understand. I hear what you're saying. I don't think we can buck the system with Army Corps of Engineers or county or anything. So maybe hitting FDOT and trying to create our own solution might be the better way to go. I don't know, but I just bring it up because people are starting to use Old Ocean in a way that I don't think we want to see, maybe. Okay.
Thank you. Any other public comment? All right, this is public comment. Moving on to the approval of the consent agenda. Is there a motion?
Second.
Motion second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. All right, regular agenda items.
I would like to remove that item if we can to proceed in resolution that we submitted. We have a well-functioning town commission. I think, secondary elections are not required. We have one election a year like most, municipalities, and that should be enough. So I move that we strike, that 2602, and anything affiliated with that, from tonight's discussion.
So I'm understanding, you're making a motion for 10 and 11, your motion is to just leave everything as it is because we have a good commission without voting?
That
Christine?
we have an election for commissioners once a year, correct?
No, commission for the mayor and the vice mayor once a year.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. We're functioning well. Maybe there's something structurally wrong in what I'm getting at, but I hate to see a good operation.
That's a novel approach.
So it's required by charter that every year we vote on the mayor and vice mayor positions within the town commission. So if your motion is to adopt the resolutions with the current mayor and vice mayor re-elected, I would say that would be the proper way to do that motion.
So that would
But
constitute a vote.
is it okay to do that motion?
Yeah, we're just combining the two resolutions. If it's unanimous, there's no reason to go through a vote for both resolutions. If there's some discussion and it's not unanimous, then we'll have to do one resolution at a time.
Is that your motion, Dave?
Yeah, that answers my question.
Is that your motion?
It's my motion.
I need a second.
I'd second it, but isn't that self-serving?
Pretty much.
Carolyn?
I understand what you're saying, and it makes sense. However, I think the charter is the charter because that's what the.
I think Chris
want.
is saying that if we vote on his motion, that is a vote. So we would cover the charter. That's what I think.
Right. If the motion is to approve both resolutions with leaving the mayor as a current mayor and the vice mayor as a current vice mayor, then that would be the motion adopted to cover both resolutions. If that's not the case, if they're not a second, then we'll do each resolution.
Yeah, just do it. You don't want.
No, that's a second. Instead of
Thanks.
10, it's just
All right,
confusing.
so motion and second, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries. Cool. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Cameron.
Ainer approves as well.
Thank you, everyone. Steve?
Yeah.
Number 12, consideration of lien reduction for 113 Island Drive South. For everyone here?
I have to sign off, guys. We're taking off.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Dahlem, and that's my wife, Lisa Dahlem, back there. And I want to start out by saying thank you for giving us time on your agenda today. We really appreciate it. Secondly, I also want to apologize to all of you and to the community of Ocean Ridge. I know the situation on this site has been an issue for some time. And as you know, when we were before you last, we were unaware of the history until we purchased the property, and about a month later, a magistrate gave us 5 months to submit for permitting. I trust you've read my letter and the letter from our architect, Opus Home, so I will not go back and review any of the details on that, and I trust that that information is part of the record for this meeting. The home that we're building is completely different from the spec home that was originally intended to be built there. In our opinion, it's a more thoughtful design and will be a very, very nice addition to the community. It took several design iterations that included changes to structural design to accommodate new architectural design. We didn't get out of the footprint. We stayed in the footprint, but made very, very significant changes. Quite frankly, we thought we could accomplish this in 5 months or but when we started on that, down that road. And obviously, for the reasons outlined in our letters from Opus and from us, we did not meet that. I'm sure you recently know that we were cited for 2 violations on the site. We were cited for inadequate fencing and an alleged seawall failure. The violations were both addressed within 5 days, 5 business days. The fencing has been installed, and as I understand it, it's been approved by the town. The town received a letter from our seawall engineer confirming that indeed there is no failure in the wall. There are needed repairs, but they are not emergency repairs as alleged in a letter to the town. I believe when we were before you last, we expressed our intent to make seawall repairs and to also raise our seawall. Since that time, we have been working with our neighbors on either side to address any seawall issues that they have and to try to come together and have a nice seawall all the way across. And we're still working on that right now. In fact, I've got a meeting with the engineer and with one of the neighbors sometime this week. We're working on that this week. Look, we want to be good neighbors, and we will be good neighbors. We think we are making a significant investment in the community, and we think that everyone will be very pleased with it. Anyone can see that the project is indeed moving forward. It does have a nice pace moving forward. It's in our interest, it's in our contractor's interest, and certainly in the town's interest for this home to be completed as quick as possible. And believe me, that is our intention too. So I told my wife today, I don't really want to spend any more Februarys up in Kentucky. We've had some bad winters up there. So respectfully, we request that you consider a reduction in the fines that have accrued through July 3rd, 2025.
All right, is there any questions for Mr. Dowell?
I'd just like to ask some questions. I went back and rewatched the meeting from last September when you were before us.
Yes, ma'am.
And I also went back to the magistrate meeting from April 2nd of 24.
Okay.
And just to clarify, after the magistrate meeting, you were provided an order finding violation, assessing fine, and imposing lien. So it was presented to you as the respondent, and it clearly stated that you had until September 2nd, 2024 to submit the plans and get the permit.
Yes.
And it in underlined all caps, it said you'll be fined after that day $250 per day. And it's 303 days, and that's why we got to the number where we are. During the 5 months, you were aware of that those fines were going to start to accrue.
And we were working with the engineers and the architects very hard, trying to push along getting the new design done for the changes that we were making.
Right.
It was, yes, to be clear, I was on the phone all the time with them saying, hey guys, we got a deadline.
Right.
We got a deadline, we got a problem.
I'm going to go back to your builder, because when he appeared before the magistrate, he said he was there on your behalf with your knowledge.
Okay, yes.
And if that's not the case, then, then he's lying under oath.
No, that was the case.
Okay. So in the September meeting, 25, when you came before us, we suggested that you go work it out with him, because he was the one who had the violation. He was the one who promised the September deadline. And I'm not aware of any attempt to extend that deadline. So I'm just, again, like I was back in September, wondering, why is this for us to fix? This is really between you and the builder.
Okay.
And did any conversations take place? Did he flat out refuse to cover the fines? Because he was at fault for those.
Well, no, not flat out.
Well, he was at fault for the violation, which prompted the magistrate hearing.
Okay, well, I mean, yeah, he and I are still talking about that. We're working on that, but I mean, I as far as the fines go, can you repeat the question for me again? Sorry.
Just basically, why is it for us to fix when you knew what that September 24 deadline was? And then it's July, and that's when, now we've got all, you know, this money that we owe, and now we want to come to the town and have us fix it. What was happening between September and July in terms of, did you come to the town and try to work it out or work out some kind of an arrangement, or I just need to understand why it's, why
That
it
was
falls on us.
obviously a failure on my part. That was obviously a failure. I was pushing and we were pushing, trying to get the design in and to get whatever iterations we were doing to get the home to the way we wanted it, not a spec home, but to a different design, a different.
So that was between you and your architect and your builder, right? That
Okay.
wasn't involving the town.
Okay.
It wasn't like the town dropped any balls during that
No.
time period,
No.
right?
Come in.
I had a question for Kelly. Because your information is slightly different from what I heard at my meeting, but it could have been updated. The 2 violations,
Yes,
were they corrected?
they have been corrected. Yes.
Those are separate from this.
No, but what I'm saying, are you still using the same builder?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we have the $75,000 fine. And now we're already, just starting the house and we got 2 violations that need correcting? Is that unusual?
Each case is so different. They've been going since July of 25, so it's a little while.
But the violations was what, a seawall and a removal
The
of bushes
fence.
with no fencing?
Fencing, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's, so what I'm looking at, the reason I'm bringing this up is.
Sure.
You have $75,000 fine. I'm in agreement with Carol on this. I'm not for relief. But already we're seeing little cracks starting as you're building the house, which we really appreciate. The house is finally being built and I'm sure the neighbors appreciate it. But to run into 2 violations on the start of building a house indicates to me that we're not gonna have smooth sailing.
Well, can I clarify something on that too? So, Randy Leneve, as you're facing the house on the right side, he had a wood fence that he's like, it's just, he didn't even see it because it was covered with his landscaping. And I called him and said, hey, that's yours. If you want to remove it at some point before we start doing landscaping, you might want to think about removing it because it is laying over on your landscaping. He just, Charlie, I hadn't even paid any attention to it. Yeah, he goes, I'll get rid of it. So he got rid of it. That exposed that side and began that issue. Secondly, there should be no violation on the seawall. It needs work. We intend to do work. We have an engineer who came to us and
Maybe the seawall is not the second violation.
It is. It's the second alleged, it's an alleged violation. If you go back and look, no, sir, if you go and you read the engineer's report, a seawall engineer's report, he said, it needs work. We're going to have to do this and this in order to raise it, which is going to be significant, but it's not leaching into the canal. It is not in violation of anything. It's structurally fine right now. There's no emergency repair needed for it. So I'm going to say that's that's an allegation that's inaccurate. And again, when the city gets something like that from a seawall engineer, I think it's probably pretty accurate. So, respectfully.
Yep, I get you. I'm just not I'm of the mind I was at the previous meeting. I appreciate you guys coming and I appreciate that the violations were cleaned up quickly on the new violations.
And that's why, that's why I said, in 5 business days over the Easter weekend, I mean, we're on it. I mean, up fence, yes, should have been on that. I think the contractor should have been on it. Seawall, there's no violation there, sir.
Dave, do you have anything?
Yeah, this is about a lien reduction, and that lien was existent, I believe, when you and the builders engaged in purchasing this property. I could be a little bit wrong. So we didn't make the mistake of getting involved in a property that was had problems, and this is for you to solve, not for the town. And the fine is over $75,000, which is a lot of money. I hate to see you and your wife have to spend that amount, but I think were aware of this when this all started out. So I am not in favor of any relief. So, and I haven't changed from that.
Okay.
I wish we could help you, but we can't. This is something that is not the town's responsibility. It's a lien against the property, and you need to take care of that before you can move forward.
Mr. Dallin, I appreciate you coming here very much. The problem here is neighbors, everybody has to be respectful to the rest of the neighbors. And our problem, town's problem, is that this started way back in 23. Okay, so the neighbors have been dealing with this. This is the same position we had last time you were here. In fact, it was a little too aggressive to your builder, which I apologize for. But he's been a very poor neighbor to the neighborhood for a very long time. So the town finally had to take action to make something happen. Now, I don't know what the arrangement is between you and your builder. I really don't. I really don't want to know. However, being that neighbor, he had literally to put his feet to the fire to get things done. And it's hard to imagine, with the little bit of the fence problem we had, there was no fence on that property before you bought that property. It was literally the sand blowing and was on George Beck's side, and no one's knocking his whole fence down. And before Randy and his wife bought their house, that house right there was Bill's house. And that place was full of sand. And it was a huge problem. So the town has gotten to the point where, is this, like all the rest of the commissioner said, is it our problem to reduce, if this was something different to where, and we've done this before, we have reduced liens before, but this one's been so egregious for such a long time that's why the town's position is really kind of steadfast and it's holding fast to its position of really, this is a responsibility between you and your builder, and really getting down to that agreement, whatever that agreement may be, to reimburse you for this fine or however you're going to make that conclusion. But I mean, it sounds like the rest of us are pretty much trying to stick to our guns when it comes down to the lien. We're not going to reduce it.
Okay. Well, again, I appreciate you giving me time today.
Thank you for
Talk to
coming
you,
in.
and we're going to be good neighbors. We're interested. We love this town. And our contractor does build a good home. As Cassidy, you mentioned that in the end. I think it's going to be a nice home. It's going to be a quality home, and whatever issues he has with you, hopefully everybody can get that behind them. And
I don't know what
get
you've
up
done.
with it.
I don't know what you did with the builder, but in 2.5 weeks, I saw something come out of nowhere. I mean, you've got all the block works up. You're about to pour the tie beam around there. It looks great.
Thank you. It's rolling.
You really
I'm
put a
thrilled
lot
to
of
death.
work into a very short amount of time. So whatever you're doing with your builder, please keep doing it.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a nice
you.
evening.
So staff and committee reports. It's in town manager. We'll let her, does she want to do a report or?
Can you hear me?
Kelly?
Can you hear me?
She says when she gets this manager, she doesn't have one other than what she submitted in the agenda.
That's good enough. Thank you. I know the town attorney has one,
Yes, thank you,
which is
Mr. Mayor.
way different than normal.
Yes. Two items. The first one in the backup on page 164, there's a proposed Florida Department of Transportation agreement. So the neighbor to the north of Town Hall has permits to develop that property. The property owner has applied to FDOT for a permit to put pavers in the FDOT right of way leading to the developed roadway A1A, and also irrigation within the right of way. So what we found out from FDOT was that FDOT will issue a permit to a private property owner for a concrete driveway and nothing else. If they want to do something above and beyond that, like in this case, then FDOT now does agreements with the local jurisdiction. So basically, FDOT has proposed an agreement to the town where the town essentially takes on the maintenance responsibility for the private property owner. So the private property owner wants to move forward with these improvements, and they're essentially asking the town to do this agreement with FDOT so they can do it. Now, from a legal standpoint, I have a lot of concerns about this because obviously what this agreement is saying is that essentially the town's making these improvements and now the town's going to maintain them. So as a minimal recommendation, if this were something that the town wants to start considering doing for private property owners, I would recommend an agreement be developed between the town and the private property owners that essentially puts all these obligations back on the private property owner. That's a minimal recommendation. My biggest concern is one of liability. If something happens in the right of way where these private improvements are made, despite an agreement where the property owner will indemnify the town will be named in a lawsuit. The town will be named, the private property owner will be named, and FDOT will be named. And then we'll have to fight to get out of that lawsuit. Now, obviously, if we have a contract with the private property owner where they indemnify us and they have insurance, then maybe the town gets off. However, I'm still concerned that now you're going to be opening yourselves up to more liabilities by taking on these agreements for private property owners. So from a legal stance, I would recommend not doing this. However, from a town policy perspective, it's something that the town has to consider and should consider because, you know, these are improvements that will improve the right of way of private property that are, you know, adjacent to A1A. But so I wanted to put this under the legal comments so that you understand from a legal perspective, I do not recommend doing this. I don't recommend generally doing agreements with FDOT because I think they're overburdensome and you take on a lot more responsibility than you realize every time you do one of these agreements. But for this issue, I have concerns. But I'm happy to work further on it if it's something that the town wants to consider.
And on top of that too, the sovereign immunity claims just got increased this year's legislature. Yeah, from 200, not as bad as they wanted, but from 200 per incident to 350 and from 200 per person to 350 and I think from 300 per incident to 500.
I believe so, yes.
So it sounds to me in layman's term, FDOT is saying no unless the town's stupid enough to sign the agreement.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
So my question is FDOT, when they say a concrete driveway, is there a definition of concrete driveway? Because you could say those are concrete pavers, which they are. So my other question too is, well, the house literally right here has pavers on the right of way. So did the town actually agree to that, or that's just something the homeowner?
Kelly's actually looked more into this.
I have to double check on that, but I could be wrong, but I don't believe they went through FDOT nor with the town to get the papers
They
done.
just did.
So they didn't,
What property is that?
well, they didn't go through FDOT when they did the permitting?
Correct. I don't think that they actually got it per.
Which
So
property are you talking about?
right here.
So therefore, we're not liable for anything.
Folks, we're all talking about right next door here, this piece of property, you're gonna be building a duplex. So on the duplex, you have two driveways coming in, so the paver is gonna be on the eastern side of the sidewalk. So literally, two houses down, there's pavers on the eastern side of the
They
sidewalk.
already did them.
It's done, yeah, it's been done for a couple of years. But what you're saying is that they didn't have to get, or they didn't go to get an FDOT permit.
Because
Then why are
normally,
these folks?
right, normally when a building permit comes in and we notice that it's in the right of way, we make them reach out to FDOT to get that permit. Either one, it was missed. I'd have to go back and look and see. I didn't get a chance to do that today, but I would have to go back and look and see if it even was submitted as a permit to the town.
So if I'm understanding this properly, the homeowner would like to put pavers in. FDOT saying no, unless we foolishly take liability for it. But we're talking about is a very short strip of cement, right? Because once they get to their property line, they can go back to pavers. So they can have pavers for the cosmetic look all around their house and up to the garage. But from the sidewalk out to the street, which how many feet are talking?
Yeah, about 10 feet by 10 by 12.
It's gonna be cement. I don't see that as a hardship to the owner.
Well, that's my curiosity. I mean, I don't want the town having the responsibility of picking them up. Well, the FDOT, when they come in there, if they have to do something the right away, they'll just tear them up anyway, but they'll have to redo. Because FDOT owns all our sidewalks. So that's why they have to repair them. But I was just more curious of why one homeowner, because let's face it, you got a builder's gonna build these two things, and you have two separate homeowners. I don't believe the two new homeowners that buy those duplexes will even care whether it's concrete or not. But it was just more of a curiosity item on my point of how did these folks have as did they just do it, or was it really part of a permitting process? And the people who are building the duplex actually went through the right process and did the right way. And they're actually getting kind of, short change because they did it the right way. Is that about right?
Probably so, but I also think it's sort of a change in FDOT's policy because I have never seen FDOT send one of their standard agreements to cover private property. So it may be a thing that now FDOT is trying to get away from people doing all these improvements in their right of way, just for the same reason you mentioned, that when they come fix the sidewalk, now they got to dig the pavers up and they got to put them back down. So they may be trying to get away from that too.
Okay. Well, I mean, it kind of beat this to death in the town.
Right, the other
I think we're all on the same page. You don't want to.
Yeah, the other thing they
Take
wanted to put sprinklers in there, which we would be responsible for if a car runs over, bus, we have to fix it.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is though, the problem with sprinklers is that it gets the sidewalk all
Yeah.
wet and if somebody slips on the sidewalk.
So we need to,
But the town gets sued.
So we've got
too.
consensus not to.
It's on pavers. Lady was walking up Old Ocean, the bridge, and she supposedly slipped off the side because the paver was loose. You know, the paver sidewalks we have going up. She slipped on that. She sued it. So we've had our experience with pavers.
and it sounds like the house that has the pavers, the proposal slips through the cracks. Pavers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else you got?
The other item I have is a request from the town's Planning and Zoning Commission at their last meeting. They requested authorization from the town commission to start the discussion about retaining walls. That discussion basically involved that a lot of the new development they're seeing in town and that they're reviewing, most of the homes are building retaining walls right on the property line. And they see that as potentially creating some maintenance issues in the future, some property owners disputes in the future. And they're just considering whether we need perhaps to recommend Planning and Zoning Commission to recommend to the town commission an ordinance to address those types of issues. So they would like to look into that issue further.
Have they seen a problem or are they just anticipating a problem?
I think they're trying to be proactive. Mr. Kidleo brought this up, that he's seen other cities adopting ordinances and.
Well, I think that we see a problem. There's definitely a problem out there. Because what happens is you're building if you're building a house next to a house that's been there prior to the change in elevation.
Mhm.
So right now you're at 9 foot elevation, you build your house, and like my house is 6 foot. So if somebody comes in there and builds a wall. The wall's right on the property line. So who's responsible for doing the hedges along that? So now I believe we require you have to block that wall or stucco it or paint it or something. So who's responsible for maintaining that? If it's right on the property.
Hmm.
So they definitely should look at that, because either set it back 18 inches or whatever, but it has to be something that has to be maintained by the new homeowner still have the rights for the homeowner that's been there for 30, 40 years, not have to look at either sheet piling or a wall that's badly stuccoed, or they paint it and nobody goes out there and cleans it off, because that homeowner is not looking at that wall. The homeowner on either side.
So I have a question though. P and Z had a whole list of things we were asking them to look at, right? Kelly? How far through that list are they?
They have about 3, 4 items still left. I think I gave you guys a list here not long ago of what was left. And I believe there was 3 or 4 items, one of which was the artificial turf, which we can't really
Well,
address
I
yet.
have a comment on that.
Right, but I believe there's at least 2 items.
That's still.
So
need to be addressed.
how does this work? Does the retaining wall issue go to the bottom of the line?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, we had that issue with the neighbor also. And they had one neighbor's complaining, why aren't you cutting your hedge? Because I don't have to, it's not my right. So did they look at the pergola thing yet? Just throw it out there.
We did, I believe it, and Chrissy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they decided to leave it alone. But we had made a note that we would come back to it.
Yeah, it'd be
That
nice.
was one of the ones, yeah. They
Is it
wanted,
parking? Just put a pergola in your backyard. Next to your pool.
Talking like a trellis over.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know that was against the rules.
Let's. Well, did you have?
I have one.
You're not gonna move the one you have now? Sure, go ahead. Turn.
Terry Brown, okay, myself, I had brought this up before and you pointed out that the code allows a wall or fence to be right on the line. We anticipate a project right next to us. We talked to them recently and I'm still talking to you. We're friendly. You know me, I'm very friendly. But if we're at 6 feet and we're in the flood zone, they got to go to 9 feet. They're on the slope going up the hill. So how high is that wall? Where's it's supposed to be 4 feet, no higher, right? But where does the 4 feet start? At the 9 feet or at the 6 feet?
Well, they have to get to 9. So it starts at the elevation that we just say start at. So it's gonna start at your 6 feet
Yeah,
and go up from there, or whatever that elevation, because remember, you go up like this.
yeah.
So they'll probably start at 7 feet, because they're probably a foot higher, and then go the 4 feet. Well, no, it doesn't even have to be, whatever it is, it has to be to the 9.
I want it to go to 9 feet. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but then what the thing about it is, people have to put a fence up if they have a Smith tool. So now you have not just a wall, now you
Yeah,
have
well,
a
in
fence.
this situation, they have to have a retaining wall because the water comes right down. There
Well-
was no drainage in those days.
All right, but see,
We have our
town-
own drainage system that we built.
Well, the town though requires now, when you build your home, you have to retain the property, water on your property. And a lot of that is it's an exfiltration trench. And that trench is built onto the sides of the property.
Yeah,
And the only way to do that is to have a retaining wall to hold the exfiltration trench so you can have the water stay on your property. And to be at the 9 foot. So, yeah, Terry,
I think it's worth looking at offsetting at least 18 inches from the property line.
I agree.
I mean,
Gotta get somebody a way to.
the guy up there on Old Ocean, there's one great feature about that house. If you just ignore the fact that it looks like a very expensive prison with the bars on it. He had the wall stuccoed with shell rock. It looks really good. That's what I want.
Come to the planning and zoning and suggest that of the.
Well, I'm gonna tell the owners.
So I guess it's a go for that.
Consensus
Is that all you got?
at the bottom of the list.
At the bottom of the list.
Okay.
I don't know.
And don't cut the meeting short because you want to go somewhere else.
Not me.
Chief,
There's no place.
Well,
Not
thank-
you.
thank you
I'm not
so
saying you.
much, Christie. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Chief,
Yes,
what do you
sir.
got?
Yes, sir. The March report is in your packet. The officers had a very busy March. You can see 400 and actually it's 400.
How many did you get?
That's February's report there.
415 traffic stops.
Yeah, 415, yeah. And they had a very, very busy, they've been very active and
Very active.
paid off well. I will remember, if you go by dispatch, they got the proclamation, say hi to the dispatchers and it's their week, so that's all I have.
Yeah, but one thing, sorry. So there's two. Terry, easy. There's two, I just wanted, you were telling me about, there's 2 police officers who have been writing like 35% of all the.
Well, we have a very active night shift, yeah. One of them, I think, wrote 169 tickets.
Holy cow.
That's amazing. Well, that's good. They're doing it at night.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
They're all out of town, John. Come on.
I just want to thank the police chief for helping us out at Beachway. It's a spring break and spring break is now dwindling. I wanted to thank dispatch too for always sending an officer down. It was a very successful spring break. The wind and the bad seas helped us,
Right.
but it was okay.
Hey, by the way, you know, you didn't tell me about the police actually were picking up some of the trash at each way. Yeah.
I did too.
Did you really?
Yeah. You see. Yeah. Brought my golf cart. In fact, do I actually get a golf cart from Starbright?
But put the order in.
So. It's here. It's getting outfitted now. We should have it this week.
Well, thank you, Chief, so much. Tell the
You're
guy,
welcome.
everybody else, we really appreciate it. And ladies.
We appreciate it.
All right, Commissioner Cassidy?
Yep. First, I just want to say thank you to all of you for the beautiful orchid arrangement that you gave me when my father passed. Thanks to Stella for her help. It's beautiful. I appreciate it. I also just want to comment, you know, there are, I think, 6 board positions open between planning and zoning and board of adjustment. If anyone's interested in getting involved, or you know someone who might be, or someone to recommend, and encourage them. And the artificial turf, we just got an update from our lobbyist that the rules were, I guess the DEP did issue a notice of change, so the rules are done. Then they have, I think it was 21 days to file with the Department of State, which would be around a few days ago. And then Department of State then has 20 days to review it and until it becomes effective. So we're looking at the end of April, really.
So this is materials.
This is the
what
standards
the
that we,
materials, yeah.
the rules, the DEP. And in reading through them, there's nothing about location. You can have it over a septic field, but you just have to have access to be able to experience it. I was at every year, our regional planning council gets together with South Florida, and really interesting bunch of topics, things that are going on in Florida, but we did get the Tallahassee update on where we are with taxes. They were supposed to be reconvening the legislature today. That's not happening. I believe the redistricting discussions begin on the 20th next week, and they're kind of going to wait. What we're told is they're waiting for cooler heads to prevail. They're going to maybe reconvene closer to June. They have to have a decision made by early August in order for something to be on the ballot. But what some of the lobbyists are saying is they think they're getting away from the piecemealing the, you know, people 65 and over, or people with insurance, and it's more likely going to be an additional homestead exemption. So that's kind of what they're
Any
considering.
clue on the size of that?
150 to 200 is what they're tossing around, but that's anything can happen. Yeah. So that's kind of where we are with that. And then Michelle and I had a good meeting with Florida Power and Light, a Zoom meeting about 2 weeks ago. And there were residents had approached me anyway. I'm sure some of you heard it too, that I don't want a transformer on my property. And they were able to secure all 18 locations for transformers. And so the project is moving forward in the design phase. And I did ask, I said, you know, Sable Island and Island Drive, there are vacant lots. Will the number of transformers be adequate for any future development on? And they said yes. So it's good. And Amy Kemp is the woman who spoke to us last October. And if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to put you in touch with her.
All right.
That's it. That's
So,
it.
by the way,
Is
the
that quick?
artificial turf, if I'm doing my math, it's 41 days out before we're gonna have final.
41 days from March 17th,
Right, so
To the end of April.
so
end of April.
it's 2 full months. I didn't know if it would affect, you know, we're warning people, don't put it in.
Hey, you know what I saw today? Point Beach's fireboat
You did.
out there testing the fire.
Was it
So
functioning?
where the heck's the chief at? 'Cause remember, we were supposed to get the ride first one on the fire.
I saw it being served up for a while.
Did you?
I
Wow.
don't know. I signed their check today. He should be around.
Okay. All right, well,
Yeah.
anything else? Well, everyone, thanks for coming. Really appreciate it. We'll see you in the next May meeting, and meeting adjourned. Yeah, I'm gonna call the chief.
It should, because remember what the thought is now, he was playing us
Yeah, he was playing.
as they switched over.